Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor.
Welcome back, everyone. We're joined by Mr. Buzz Ramsey. We talked a little bit about spring Chinook fishing on the Willamette, how things are going currently, some of his advice that might make you a little bit better at it if you get a chance to get out there this week. Things are only going to change for the better. Based on how things are now, Buzz, and I'm sure that you can agree with this based on the reports that we're all getting, it can only get better, right? Right?
You bet.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to slowly improve, looks like, or maybe they'll show up, well, in a couple days. Who knows?
Let's just cross our fingers. I'd like to be in the front of the wall. But real quickly, Buzz, I got a live report. Everyone with a live report goes to the front of the line. I got Mike from Milwaukee, who's got a report from the Willamette. Real quickly, Mike, what are you seeing out there, and any bites for you?
No bites for me. Lots of boats. Heard of one. I'm right under the Selwood Bridge.
Okay, so you're down in the middle section, roughly, everyone, if you're familiar with that. Lots of boats. You've seen one and heard of one? That's it.
No, I've heard of one. I haven't seen any.
Okay, you've heard. This is not good, everyone. How's the current down there?
It's non-existent.
Okay.
No, maybe a little bit. I see a ripple around the pilings.
Well,
that's not much.
That's still not very much. Is everybody just trolling around, Mike?
Yep. Everybody's just going in circles.
Yeah, well, that's the way to, I mean, with no current, that's really the best way to target that area, depending on how you prefer to fish. Mike, thanks for your phone call. I
did catch a dog.
You caught a dog?
Yeah, my boxer jumped in the water after a goose.
Okay. Mike, thanks for your phone call. Thanks for that live report. Sounds like it's very consistent, Buzz, that the fishing is just not very good right now. Although it's better to be fishing than not, and you can't catch them if you're at home sitting on the couch. Okay, Buzz, you're also very well known for loving to chase trout. And by the way, whitefish, but that's a whole other topic that I want to get you on to talk about. But trout fishing opens in Washington and Oregon. Obviously, there's some trout opportunities year-round. But going into this time of year, how would you recommend targeting trout, stalker trout in particular?
Well, for most people, particularly if they're fishing from shore, although it can be done from a boat too, many people still fish power bait.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a dough bait, trout bait. It comes in jars, and it's kind of like Play-Doh, if any of you remember that. But the key with power bait is it's a dough bait, and it's buoyant, so it floats. And the key to success is to use a small enough hook, like a number 14 or 16 treble, in combination with enough power bait, so your power bait will float up off the bottom so cruising trout can quickly find it. Most people rig up their main line goes through an oval egg sinker with a bead, a swivel, a 24 to 36-inch leader, might be the best length. It can vary. And they cast out in the lake, leave a little bit of slack in your line, and let the fish take that bait, swallow it, and swim before you set the hook.
Right. It is tons of fun. It's one of my favorite ways to go after trout, even if we're in the boat. A lot of times, especially on Hag, which is a year-round fishery on Hag Lake, we'll take the boat and go to spots and just beach it and start plunking from there with power bait. But trolling is obviously a very good way to go after them. Are you a game troll kind of guy where you like to have a lot of flash going on?
I do, but if I've got, say, 3 people with me, a lot of times we'll take my drift boat and I'll just row,
Yeah.
And I'll run a couple of trolls to bring trout into the gear.
Oh.
And I'll run a couple lines clean with a small plug or maybe a spoon or even a spinner. We've got to use a swivel. And I'll troll with that. And one thing I noticed with the lake trolls, sometimes I'm out there and I'm not catching fish on the rods with the lake trolls, but I'm catching them on the other lines that are near there. They're, just a lure on the end. But if I take the trolls off, then my catch rates go down, in which case is a signal that while they're attracted to the trolls, they don't want to get too close. So that means lengthen your leader.
That's another bit of great advice, because I've always run a relatively short leader behind a game troll or a lake troll. But bringing them in, that's a lot like salmon fishing. When we got a bunch of fish flash out there, they can see those things. They come in and check it all out, and all of a sudden they decide to bite one of those baits. Okay, as always, though, my time is always too short with Mr. Buzz Ramsey. But my last question, Buzz, I'm out of time. But what's your next fishery? What are you going to be chasing next? Are you still going to chase springers? You coming back down? What are you going to do?
Oh yeah, I'm not done with springers. I'm gonna probably be fishing a little, maybe a trip or two to the Willamette or the Slough, and I'll be fishing a little bit at Wind and Drano. Those numbers are down a little bit this year, but that's pretty close to our home, so sure. I'll be there, and I'll also be out there chasing those trout. Yeah, I'll be out doing all that.
Well, sounds great. I look forward to getting you back into the studio, Buzz. We're going to have to coordinate that your next trip over, maybe when you're heading towards the coast. But it's great to see you. Thanks for spending some time and sharing some of your insight. We really do appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Buzz. Have a great week. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, we've got your Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the Week. And for some of you, may never even heard of tuna balls. I get it. And some of you obviously have. Let's make sure we learn how to make those and make it super simple and really a cool bait to use in a number of different ways. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.